It's on Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. At the Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Well, finally, a beautiful day in Toronto. The roof is wide open here at Rogers Center. It's 15 degrees, and it couldn't be a better evening for baseball. This is the first of a 4-game series against Bob Melvin's Oakland A's. Melvin, the skipper, longtime skipper in the big leagues, and he is here at the helm of Oakland. They've had a pretty good road trip. This is the first time since 1997 Oakland has played New York, Boston, and Toronto on the same road trip. They're 3-3 so far. Marcus Semien, their shortstop, has a 6-game hit streak. He's hit in every game on this road trip, batting .345 with a double, a home run, and 6 ribbies. And Jonathan Lucroy, over his last 14 games, hitting .356. He's batting 9th in the order for the 15th time this season. They're set to take on Aaron Sanchez.
Aaron will lead off the homestand with his 9th start of the season. He's 2-3, 4.08 earned run average. Last time to the mound, that was last Friday. Just 5 innings against the Boston Red Sox. Picked up a no decision that day. Inconsistencies in the strike zone has really hurt Aaron. 25 walks in 46 innings has run up his pitch count. Still, he's received 2 or fewer runs in 5 of his 8 starts. He faces Oakland for the 4th time in his career. 2nd as a starter, but the 1st time since April of 2016.
Aaron needs a good one to get himself going and also to build some momentum. Jay Happ was terrific in his start yesterday against the Mets. 7 innings, just 2 hits, no walks, and 10 strikeouts.
The locker room was abuzz about that start today. The Blue Jays locker room about the start by Jay Happ. Did it all yesterday for him.
No matter what you think, it's all about starting pitching. Here's the first pitch from Sanchez. It's in there for a strike, and we are underway. This is Marcus Semien, their leadoff man. He's now 27 years old. Originally drafted by the Chicago White Sox out of UC Berkeley, not far from Oakland, in 2011.
It's an interesting attack that the Oakland A's have. Lots of home runs, not a lot of stolen bases. They do have some team speed, but they really swing hard.
They have homered in all 6 games on this road trip, and they have hit 13 home runs over those 6 games. Bob Melvin, he's got all kinds of information behind him there. You need a pointer and a laser.
That would confuse me, all of those numbers.
3-1 now to Marcus Semien, the leadoff man.
I asked Russell Martin today, what's the key for Aaron Sanchez, and he said for always fastball command for Aaron. He's got to get ahead with his fastball and stay ahead with that fastball.
There's a fastball popped up. Solarte moves out into the outfield, makes the catch. 1 away. The Blue Jays have been terrific turning double plays. They have turned 43 double plays for the season. Curtis Granderson is starting in right field because Teoscar is not available.
Yeah, Teoscar injured his back, upset himself in the game yesterday, then aggravated it on that swing in the 8th inning. So he is unavailable, spazzed up on him just a little bit, tightened up. So Curtis Granderson will get the start tonight in right field.
Sanchez retiring the first batter. That's something he really needs to improve upon. And there's another pitch just off the plate inside. Starting this game, Aaron Sanchez had the 3rd lowest percentage of first batters retired in the majors. This is Matt Joyce.
That's better. I think at times he gets a little bit ahead of himself, and what I mean by that, his lower half gets a little bit ahead of himself. His arm can't catch up, so he gets underneath the ball. Starts throwing the ball up just a little bit more. Ball's up in the strike zone. When he stays together and keeps that hand on top of the baseball and drives the ball down in the strike zone, that's when he's at his best.
Well, Pete Walker has really worked hard trying to get this rotation turned around. The Blue Jays are 14th in the American League in ERA. Blue Jays starters, that is. Cut out and missed. Matt Joyce strikes out. 2 quick outs for Sanchez here in the first.
Aaron has a great curveball. They might want to incorporate it just a little bit more tonight. What that does is it keeps you on top of the baseball. There's a good spin. They will have their share of strikeouts. The Oakland A's, they'll hit a lot of home runs, but they'll have their share of strikeouts. Curveball, too, very important.
2 outs, Jed Lowry having a terrific start to his season. Now the curveball, that one misses. Lowry's batting .325. He has 9 doubles, 9 homers, and 36 RBIs.
This guy has been a good player for a long time. He doesn't get the credit that a lot of second basemen do, but he can really hit. Switch hitter.
He started out with Boston. He spent 4 years with the Red Sox, and then he bounced around. This is his second stint with Oakland. He's spent 5 seasons in an A's uni. 2-0 pitch, and he cuts on and fouls it back.
That's a good sign right there. They couldn't get around on that 97-mile-an-hour fastball. It's really interesting how the Blue Jays are really playing him up the middle. They got 3 defenders up the middle. That's Josh Donaldson playing that straightaway shortstop. It's not a shift. It's more of, hey, let's bunch everybody in the middle. Take away those hits. Everybody else in the outfield pretty much straight away.
The appeal down to Brian Gorman, the crew chief, and Lowry works Sanchez for the walk. That's an aspect that has really been a problem for Aaron. The walks have really created problems. As you mentioned, Pat, he came into this game with 25 walks and 46 in the 3rd innings. That's a walk per 9 inning rate of 4.9, almost 5 walks per 9 innings.
Yeah, and what that does, on top of putting base runners on base and you have to go to the stretch, just runs your pitch count up. He can't stick around too long when you've got a high pitch count.
Well, it also gives Chris Davis a chance to make a big swing. And he will do that. He's got 12 homers and 36 ribbies. In fact, Lowry and Davis are the best teammates as far as driving in runs. They've driven in 72 runs together. That's a pretty good pitch.
Good comeback fastball. Yeah, with the home runs, though, you're going to get strikeouts. He's halfway to 100 already in strikeouts, Chris Davis, but outstanding power.
149 over his last 18 games, but he's hit 5 home runs. Ball on a strike to Davis. Boy, he is loading up on that back leg, isn't he? Thinking about doing one thing, hitting out of the ballpark.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. Hit home runs. He loves to hit those home runs. He doesn't have to pull the ball to go deep.
Spent 3 years with the Brewers before coming to Oakland in a trade on February of 2012. That's a good pitch. 96 right at the knees. Davis was originally drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers in 2009 out of Cal State Fullerton.
He could really leverage the baseball. This would be a great time to throw a curveball.
2-2 pitch, 2 outs. There's your curveball. It's ripped into center field. That ball caught a lot of the plate, and Davis is aboard with a 2-out single.
What a difference between the curveball that he struck Joyce out with and then that one to Davis with 2 strikes. Matt Joyce, it was a sharp breaker and it was down. This one just rolls, stays over the middle of the plate. Russell wanted that ball away. You could see where Martin wants that curveball, and it just stayed right over the middle of the plate.
Davis hit it hard, but on the line to center. So there are 2 aboard now for Matt Olson. Olson's got a lot of power. 6 homers, 16 RBIs so far. Olson is 6'5" and weighs 230. 2 outs. Russell is still trying to establish that fastball for a strike.
Get that release point. In his last start, Aaron had a little trouble in the first inning. A walk, a single, stolen base, 25 pitches in that first inning in his last start against the Red Sox.
This will be the 21st pitch of this inning, and that's a changeup off the plate outside. Always difficult for starting pitchers. I don't care how good you are. There's an adjustment that takes place in the first inning, trying to get into the flow of the game. 3-0. You can bet Olson will have the green light. He hit a home run last night against Craig Kimbrell in Boston. Matt Chapman, the third baseman, waits on deck.
Yeah, he's looking for something out over the plate. Fastball. And he got it. That tells you how good Aaron's fastball is. 3-0. He's looking for it, and he blew it right by him.
Olson was a first-round pick of the A's in 2012 out of high school in Georgia. Another good fastball.
Olson has his hands out over the plate. Generally, you can get upstairs then with a good fastball. He's missed a couple of them. High fastballs. Pretty decent low ball hitter. I say stay back up there.
3-2, 2 outs. There go the runners. He got up there again and fouled it straight back. Go back and look at Aaron over his last 3 starts. It's been a real struggle for him. ERA nearly 5. The whip 1.77 walks and hits per innings.
Yeah, that's what that is. Walks and hits per innings. That's almost 2 base runners right there between his walks and his hits every inning that he's dealing with.
3-2 again. There go the runners. Takes ball 4. So the bases are loaded. And it all started with 2 outs and nobody on. Lowry got a walk. Davis got a base hit. And now Olson walks. It has been a real struggle for the starters for this Blue Jays ball club. They haven't been able to get any consistency together.
No, you look at the starters and some of their numbers. They have the second most walks in the American League. They now have 101 walks between their starters in 44 games now. Only the Chicago White Sox have walked more.
This is Matt Chapman. He's the third baseman. Chapman's another first-round pick for the A's. 2015 out of Cal State Fullerton.
Another big-time power hitter. Got to be careful.
Sanchez missed his spot, but I don't know that he should be throwing to spots.
No.
His stuff is so good, you don't have to make perfect pitches.
Just keep it low.
Bases are loaded. Lowry walked. Davis at second. He singled, and Olson walked. Sanchez with a chance to get out of this inning. 0-2. Got him. Aaron Sanchez threw a lot of pitches in the first, but the bottom line is he got a couple of strikeouts. He strands the bases loaded, and he reacts to getting out of that early game jam. Years playing with the A's, but really became a star player when he came here to Toronto. He was the MVP of the American League in 2015. Here's the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays, coming off a terrific game offensively yesterday. Donaldson, he is hitting in that second spot, and over his last 7 games, he's starting to look more like Josh Donaldson, hitting over 300. Kevin Pillar this season at home, hitting almost 330 with 15 extra base hits, and they'll get their first look at Andrew Triggs as a starter.
Triggs started the season on a hot streak, posting an ERA under 3 in his first 3 starts, but since then close to 7 in his last 5. The Yankees torched him for 6 in 4 1/3 innings last time. He faced the Blue Jays once in his career. That came a couple of years ago back in Oakland. Came in relief in the first inning.
Rich Hill started that game and had to leave after 5 pitches, and Triggs came in, and he didn't fare much better. He took a shin burger off his shin, had to leave the game after just an inning. Ball and a strike to Curtis Granderson. Drills it to center field, and that's going to hang up for Dustin Fowler, the center fielder. Fowler just making his 5th start in center for the A's. Former New York Yankee. Checking his defensive alignment for Josh Donaldson. Deep, play deep.
Get back there. Josh feels like he's getting really close. His swing, when you watch it, it can be complicated. There's a lot of moving parts to the swing, but he knows what feels right. And talking to him today, he says he is starting to get that good feeling again. A lot of good timing. There's a lot of timing going on in his swing.
Well, I tell you one thing, Josh has more pitches thrown at him off the plate inside than anybody in the Blue Jays lineup. Obviously, that's out of respect. They don't want him to get too comfortable up there. There's a flat slider from Triggs, down and away.
And Josh was thinking fastball again. And they threw a fastball in, slider away. You throw a fastball in to get the hitter thinking in, so he opens up that hip just a little bit too quick. Then you start going away with the slider. Josh, I think, is a master at looking for pitches in certain situations, sitting on a breaking ball or sitting on a fastball, whatever the situation is.
There's another slider off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Donaldson. Triggs began his career as a reliever. He only made 1 start in the minor leagues. Inside fastball. Triggs was drafted and signed with the Royals in 2012. 19th rounder out of USC. Then Baltimore purchased him from Kansas City in 2015. There's a slider again off the plate outside. Donaldson strikes out, 2 away. Well, the A's really haven't played very well in the field of late. They have committed 6 errors in their last 9 games. That has led to 9 unearned runs.
Well, one guy who's been very busy is Matt Chapman over there at third base. We're going to highlight him because he's got the 2nd most innings at third base in the American League. Most total chances, most assists. Next closest is Alex Bregman, 2nd highest zone rating as a third baseman in the American League. He's I think, a budding star.
Justin Smoke had a big day yesterday at a 1st inning home run off of Zach Wheeler on an 0-2 count after Wheeler struck out the first 2 batters. Then he had a big double in the 5th inning. He said he hit the double harder than he hit the home run. Double went to straightaway center over Juan Lagares, the center fielder's head.
I don't know. That fastball that he hit out for got out of there pretty quick.
3-0 to Smoke, and as we have seen, he rarely swings at a 3-0 pitch. They play him to pull just like everybody else when he's batting left-handed.
We see this, excuse me, Buck, so many times in the 1st inning. You get the first 2 batters out, you got a home run hitter at the plate, then you start pitching around him. You don't want to get beat in the 1st inning by a home run, so you throw pitches off the plate. There's another one.
He walks Smoke with 2 outs. That was the same scenario for Sanchez in the top half of this inning had 2 quick outs and then walked the third batter.
Yeah, you just don't want to get beat in the first inning for some reason. You don't want to give him anything good to hit. You don't want to challenge him in the first inning, so you end up walking him. Now you got to face Solarte.
Nervous Solarte, he had a rough day yesterday. The Blue Jays were pounding out 15 hits. He was 0 for 5.
He did get robbed a couple of times, though. Pretty good defensive plays by the Mets.
He got robbed on a diving play by Asdrubal Cabrera in the 5th inning. He threw him out at first, and then there was a play that was initially ruled an infield hit. Mets went to video review, and the call on the field was overturned. That took a hit away from him. That's an unusual slider that Triggs throws. It's kind of flat, just like it runs across the plane of the bat.
Yeah, normally you'd like to get some depth to that, high to low. But he throws sidearm, and it stays on that same hitting plane.
Little chopper. Pitcher will go to the bag and step on first. Solarte's retired. The Blue Jays leave a base runner. They played an inning. No score.
Game homestand where the Blue Jays have been without Roberto Osuna since May the 8th, when Major League Baseball put him on an administrative leave. Today, new court documents revealed Osuna is not to be within 100 meters of a Fort York area residence in downtown Toronto, and not to have any communication with the woman he's accused of assaulting. The court document also listed 2 conditions of release: not to possess weapons nor consume alcohol. John Gibbons was asked about the developments today. He wasn't fully informed on the matter. Gibbons said from a baseball side, Osuna is a big part of the team, but naturally this is bigger than baseball. Gibbons said, you deal with it, we moved on, other guys have filled in and done a better job. Now the investigation continues with Major League Baseball. No discipline decision has been made yet. Osuna's first court date, Buck, is next month.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before anything comes down from a legal aspect of things. Aaron Sanchez, he struck out Matt Chapman to leave the bases loaded. This is Stephen Piscotty. Piscotty, everybody has heard about the unfortunate passing of his mother recently, and he was home in California to visit with his family, and when he made a return, he had a very emotional home run that he hit.
Yeah, in Boston over the Green Monster. They made a great catch the other day to help them take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox.
His mother was diagnosed with ALS disease last year, and she passed away very shortly after that diagnosis. Originally drafted by the Cardinals, he was traded to Oakland in December. So he got a chance to spend some time with his mom in the Bay Area. They live in Pleasanton, California, just north of Oakland. He went to Stanford University, another California player on this Oakland team. Well, they have really a few, California flair, that's for sure. There's a good curveball down and away for another strikeout for Sanchez. That's 3 so far in this game.
You can note the difference also between that one and the one that he gave up a base hit to Chris Davis. Same curveball. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. Pulled that one down, and as a hitter, that looks like a strike, and then out of the strike zone for his 3rd strikeout already.
This is Dustin Fowler, the center fielder, playing in his 7th game in the big leagues. He fouls it back. Fowler was recalled from AAA Nashville last Wednesday to make his A's debut. He hit over 300 in AAA with 3 homers and 16 RBIs, and he got his first big league hit against the Yankees, the team he was drafted and signed with. He's late on that fastball.
I believe that was he was traded for Sonny Gray, and I think he got a hit off of Sonny Gray, the guy he was traded for. There's the first major league hit. And it looked like it was going to be a while before he was going to play in the major leagues. He was actually with the Yankees last year for, what, a half an inning in Chicago, or an inning?
Got a start against the White Sox.
Was injured.
Sanchez with a very good changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts for Aaron. 3 in a row. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. All of a sudden, Sanchez has been able to get ahead and then use his secondary pitches. A couple of strikeouts. He got Piscotty on a curveball and gets Fowler on a changeup.
That's what Russell was talking about. Fastball command early and get strikes. Got underneath that one again. But get ahead early with the fastball, and then you can expand.
This is Jonathan Lucroy, off to a good start, batting .284. Mentioned Lucroy is hitting 9th for the 15th time this season. He's had a very good career. Lucroy is now 31 years old. He played 7 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. And then he had an opportunity to go to Cleveland. There was a trade made, but he had to approve the trade. He turned down that trade. And he would eventually go to the Texas Rangers. August 1st of 2016. The Blue Jays saw him in the postseason catching for the Rangers.
He then had a chance to sign with Colorado, turned that down, and then signed with Oakland. Like the opportunity to play every day as an everyday catcher in Oakland.
John Gibbons certainly appreciative of that effort Jay Happ had yesterday in New York. 7 terrific innings. Oh, what a play by Solarte. Takes a hot shot base hit away from Jonathan Lucroy. Sanchez ducked out of the way. Solarte. A very flashy play. He takes the one hopper, takes a hit away from Lucroy, coming back up the middle, and then from his knees throws out the A's catcher. here in Toronto. Look at the numbers for the last 13 games. The Jays have won 12 of those 13 games.
Yeah, 12-1, and they've outscored them by 33 runs in those 13 games. Out-homered them. It's a team, the Oakland A's, that like to hit a lot of home runs, but the Blue Jays have out-homered them. Things go right when the Blue Jays and the A's play here at Rogers Center.
During that streak, they've also won the last 6 games they've played here at Rogers Center, so they've got a 6-game win streak. Here's Kevin Pillar. Kevin, as we mentioned earlier, batting .329 at home this season with 15 extra base hits. He's had a great start to his season. Just over 300 for the year. Drills that one to the alley. That ball is going to hit on the warning track and bounce up against the wall. Another double for Kevin Pillar. His 18th of the season.
When you play every day in the major leagues, you just grow in confidence, and I think that's what we're seeing now from Pillar. He's played every inning of every game for the Blue Jays out in center field. He's staying on that breaking ball like that. He's recognizing it. I think that's what you're seeing from him now. He's recognizing pitches a lot earlier. He's not swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. And when pitchers make a mistake, that's the result right there. Another extra base hit.
His 18th double, that leads the American League. He's 2 ahead of Mookie Betts at the start of play tonight. Russell Martin takes a strike.
You can just tell when batters are recognizing pitches out of pitchers' hands. They have that little hesitation where they see it and then they go and swing. Pillar's been doing that all year.
There's that slider hit off the end of the bat by Martin. He's quickly behind 0-2. Andrew Triggs has had a back and forth stretch over his last several starts. A good one, a bad one, a good one, a bad one. He's coming off a bad one his last time out.
I think they call that inconsistent. He's been very inconsistent this year.
0-2 to Martin. Good block by Lucroy, and we'll take a look at Triggs' record recently. You can see how his last 5 starts have gone bad, good, and bad last time out against the Yankees. Yeah, 6 earned runs.
Highlight the bad right there. An inning and a third against the White Sox, and they torched him for 6 earnings.
Martin reaches for it and hits it to center. Oh, that's going to be a productive at-bat. Pillar hustling over toward third. He slides in safely, and Russell Martin does a good job. Batting with 2 strikes. He got behind early and reaches for that slider away and drives it deep enough to advance Pillar from second to third.
You know what he did? He cut down his swing. First 2 strikes were sliders away. He had the big swing trying to drive him in, and now he gets another slider. Watch how he just stays back. A half swing. And he's strong enough to hit the ball deep enough to advance Pillar. Kevin got a good read on that ball right away. He is now at third base with less than 2 outs, and the infield has to come in.
Pretty early to bring the infield in. Kendrys Morales. Here's another thing I don't agree with Oakland. They're playing right at the edge of the grass. Morales doesn't run very well. You can play double play depth and still give yourself a little more range on the infield for those grounders.
But Pillar runs better. And I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to play make it go through or run that contact play right here.
Well, we mentioned Oakland has not played catch very well recently. They've committed 6 errors in their last 9 games. Two and 0. Ground ball. Pillar's coming home. Throw is not in time. So Morales will pick up an RBI. Pillar got a good break at third. So the Blue Jays manufacture a run, something they don't do very often.
Mistake by Lowry. There was no way, no chance to get Pilar. He had to go too far to his left to catch that ball and then spin around. Pilar runs too well. He read it. He's going on contact. I mean, even with a perfect throw, he was going to be safe at home. It'd probably be better off in the second inning just to get the out over first base, concede the run. But you mentioned Oakland, 9 unearned runs in the last 6 games.
900 runs in their last 9 games.
9 games. Pilar reads it, sees that the second baseman has to go a long way. Again, no chance to get him at place.
When you're playing in like that and you got a good base runner like Pilar, the ball's got to be hit right at you. It's the only chance you're going to have. Dwight Smith Jr. He has made a start in left field earlier this season. It's the second start of the season, and he's gotten some big hits. He had a double in the 9th inning after coming into the game as a pinch runner. All 3 of his hits this season are doubles.
He's hit them all over the field, too. He's hit a ball down the left field line for a double. We've seen that. Right off the end of the bat. Hey, boys, heads up. Try sitting there when there's no fence in front of the dugout like they used to in the olden days.
There were never fences in front of those dugouts, and balls used to shoot in there all the time.
Dwight Smith is here with the ball club because the Oakland A's have 1 lefty reliever. They have 7 righty relievers, so they wanted that matchup. The New York Mets only have 1 lefty reliever also. So they wanted to have him on their bench. He's going to get a start tonight against the righties, but if you need somebody to come off the bench in these last couple of series, there's only been 1 lefty. So that's why he's been here. They also wanted Anthony Alford to play every day. Anthony went down the other day when Smith came up.
A good take. It's 3-2 now with 1 out. Morales at first. Richard Urania. He hit a home run yesterday in New York, a 3-run homer in the 9th inning after the Smith double. 3-2, 1 away. Blue Jays have scored a run here. There goes Morales. Lowry makes a nice play. They start the runner, and that keeps him out of a double play. So Morales was on the move. Smith hit it sharply, but right to the second baseman, Lowry.
If he doesn't, that's a double play, and they're out of the inning. So John Gibbons being aggressive early in the game. Starts his DH running at first base to stay out of the double play.
Richard Urania, which is making his 3rd start at shortstop since coming up from AAA. The home run he hit yesterday, his 2nd big league home run of his career. Drives this one, caught by Simeon at short. Boy, the last 2 balls were smoked by the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays manufacture a run. Kevin Pilar with his 18th double, a leadoff double. He scores on a ground ball to the second baseman. The Blue Jays manufacturing the first run of this game.
Blue Jays, you can visit at the Toronto Eaton Centre location, here at Rogers Centre at gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk, or by visiting jaysshop.ca.
Lots of great merchandise on sale, so make sure you stop by. I mean, there's everything. There's game-used equipment, there's game-used uniforms, bats, bases, whatever you want. Another first pitch strike from Aaron Sanchez. Leadoff man Marcus Semien popped out on a 3-2 pitch his first time up. There you go.
Down.
Strike one, strike two.
With movement. Now you can expand from there.
Changeup, a 3-pitch strikeout. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Well, that is big news, but it's not the biggest news in that situation, Jamie. Here's Matt Joyce. He drives this one to left field, and Smith's going to play it on a hop. Matt Joyce jumps on that first pitch for a base hit. Let's go back to Boston. J.D. Martinez hit the home run in the first inning, a 2-run home run in the first inning. It's a 2-run home run given up in the first inning by Baltimore. They have now given up 60 runs in the first inning this season in 43 games. I mean, that is a difficult situation to dig yourself out of night after night after night. Coming into this game, the Orioles ERA in the first inning, 11.57.
I don't care what kind of offense you have. If, like you say, night after night, you're trying to dig out of a hole like that, it's almost impossible. Buck Showalter must be going crazy.
Well, and you know, the players standing out on the field, they're going, oh, here we go again. How many runs do we have to score tonight? The starters certainly set the tone for your team. Matt Joyce at first. Jed Lowry, he walked with 2 outs in the first inning. Sanchez gets ahead of him with a good fastball. Lowry, as good a hitter as he is, he's 0 for his last 10 against the Blue Jays.
Power in that fastball right by him. You don't have to really worry about the A's trying to steal. They just don't run. That's not part of what they do.
That's not a big part of their game for sure.
No. So Aaron should just concentrate on that batter and just try and get that batter out.
They have 7 stolen base attempts, and they've been caught 7 times. I wouldn't run either. 0-2 to Lowry. Trying to heat him up. Jed Lowry's got interesting splits, and we have information about everything. But the first 2 pitches, when Sanchez got ahead, were right down the middle. Basically middle. He's hit .645 on those pitches this year. Highest average in the majors.
Middle. And he missed those. .645.
Two balls and 2 strikes now.
The major league average, just to give you an idea, for middle is 330, 331. He's doubled that.
Obviously, pitchers don't want to throw anything down the middle when the average hitter hits 330 on it. Fly ball left field, and that's going to get down. Goes up against the wall. Joyce is being waved around third. Pillar's throw is over the first cutoff man, and Matt Joyce comes in to score to tie it at 1. So Jed Lowry picks up another RBI, his 37th of the season.
That breaks a tie with his teammate Chris Davis. Fastball away. You can see Russell wants it down, and it's up. That's the only mistake that he made. If it's down, I think he gets a ground ball, but it's up. And Jed Lowry, he's got that stroke the other way. Another extra base hit.
1 out. Here's Chris Davis. First pitch strike to Davis. Davis is the DH. And he's putting up DH-like numbers. A low batting average, but big production.
Since 2016, only Nolan Arenado, Edwin Encarnacion has driven in more runs than Chris Davis. That's the thing, and you don't hear his name. You don't hear it all the time, but he's a run producer.
He's still hitting just over 200 with runners in scoring position, but Davis really blossomed when he came to Oakland. Hit 42 homers in 2016, hit 43 last year, and he's driven in 100 in each of his last 2 seasons. Sanchez threw 29 pitches in a very extended first inning. And now, here in the third, he's already up to 55.
Last time up, he gave up a base hit to Davis on a curveball. Staying away from him there. He can get him with a good curveball. That one wasn't a good one that he gave up the hit, but when he spins a good break ball, he can hit Chris Davis.
Changeup down and away. It's a full count. Matt Olson, a left-handed hitter, is on deck. He walked against Sanchez in the first inning. Lowry with the RBI double. He's at second in scoring position for Davis. Fly ball to right and deep. Granderson back at the track. This one's gonna go. Chris Davis, a 2-run home run to right, his 13th home run of the season and his 4th opposite field home run.
Yeah, he might not be hitting for a high average, but that's what he does. Hits home runs and drives in runs. He takes that lead over his teammate Jed Lowry. Now he has 38, tying it with Manny Machado for the Major League Baseball RBI leaders. And it was an elevated fastball again. I think Aaron can throw the fastball, but if it's down, he'll get outs and he'll get results. That one is just too far up in the strike zone. You got to make those hitters reach for those baseballs with 2 strikes.
There's a good pitch down for a strike.
There's the power. Told you, he doesn't have to pull the ball to hit it out of the ballpark.
So now the A's have homered in all 7 games they've played on this road trip, for a total of 14 home runs on the trip. They lead majors with 42 home runs hit on the road.
Oh, they're getting out of the Oakland Coliseum. That is a big ballpark.
A psychological boost. Matt Olson hit one of those home runs on the road last night in Boston. Ground ball. That's Donaldson playing near second base. He makes the play. 2 outs.
You know, when you've got lineups that are full of home run hitters like the Oakland A's have, there's no soft spots. There's no place where you can just take a deep breath and say, "Ooh, I'm glad I got through that part of the lineup." Well, they got home run hitters everywhere.
And here's another home run hitter, Matt Chapman, the third baseman. He has 7 this season.
You know what it does is it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher to make a good pitch all the time. Subconsciously, you're thinking, I've got to be perfect or he might hit it out of the ballpark. I think you just got to keep the ball down. If you can make those pitches at the knees, it's tough to get those balls out of the ballpark.
Lowry and Davis coming up with big hits here in the third. They have been the most productive teammates in Major League Baseball. Driven in 75 runs now. You might think it's Judge and Stanton, or Stanton and Gregorius, or Judge and Gregorius, or Hanley Ramirez and J.D. Martinez, but it's Jed Lowry and Chris Davis.
Impressive. And they've got 3 more tonight. Chapman has been susceptible to fastballs in. Teams have really pounded him inside and had success.
That one's off the end of the bat. Urania not in time. Urania was playing Chapman deep in the hole to pull. He had a long way to go to his glove side. And by the time he got the throw off, it was too late at first. An infield hit for Chapman.
Blue Jays elect not to pitch him inside. They pitched him away. See Russell Martin set up outside. It's a fastball away. He's able to reach it and hit it in a good spot. No chance for Urania really to get him over at first base. That'll be another infield hit. Their 5th hit of the night. Their 4th this inning.
Stephen Piscotty. He struck out on a curveball his first time up. Piscotty is 27 years old. Played 3 years with the Cardinals in St. Louis. There goes the runner. Ball is fouled out of play. Chapman took off. He has not had a stolen base this season. And we talked about how infrequently the A's run.
Yeah, I guess their best runner is Marcus Semien. He's 3 for 4 in stolen bases. And Olson's 2 for 3. Nobody else on this roster has a stolen base except those 2.
Sanchez is ahead of Piscotty 0-2. Another breaking ball, and Piscotty strikes out for a second time. 6 strikeouts for Sanchez through 3 innings. But Chris Davis connects with an opposite field home run. His 4th opposite field home run of the season, his 13th for the year.
Chelsea, Man U at Wembley. The pre-match show gets underway 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. Charmin Foresticio and special guest Paul Picciolito will be in studio for the FA Cup final. Chelsea, Man U, 11:30 Eastern on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet World. Buck.
Back to the top of the order, leadoff man Curtis Granderson lined out to deep center field his first time up. Granderson had quite a return to Citi Field. Media was there, and he had a lengthy interview in the dugout in the first game on Tuesday night. Ground ball. Now he throws him out, one away.
Yeah, and he came up with a couple of doubles in yesterday's ball game. Had a big day for the Blue Jays.
Actually, that was Simeon, the shortstop, who was playing in the hole between first and second. Granderson is 0 for 2 so far. But Curtis played 4 years with the Mets, 4 years with the Yankees, and he was very popular with the fans and the media in New York. Josh Donaldson struck out his first time up. On that pitch right there, the slider away.
And you can bet he's going to go up there looking for it now. That's the kind of hitter that he is. He'll understand what the pitchers are trying to do to him, and then he'll go up there looking for pitches.
Donaldson coming into this game swinging the bat pretty well over his last 7 games prior to this one tonight, hitting .321. Been a while since he's hit a home run. Go back to that doubleheader in Cleveland on May 3rd. That's the last time he's homered. He homered in both of those games in the doubleheader. Three and 0. Ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Donaldson. That'll bring Justin Smoak to the plate. Yesterday, after a couple of quick strikeouts, Justin Smoak was behind 0-2.
0-2, and they tried to elevate the fastball. Zach Wheeler says, "You can't hit my fastball." And Justin Smoak says, "Yes, I can if you get it that close." That is a long way to right field. Really good sign when he's hitting 2-strike home runs. Driving the ball to right field, left field, doesn't matter.
Triggs walked Smoak in the first inning. There's the more traditional shift with Simeon playing almost behind the bag at second against Smoak.
And you got that quick look of Matt Chapman, the third baseman, telling Simeon, "If I get a ground ball, who am I turning with?" Simeon said, "That'll be me," and now 2-0, and he's going to back up.
So everybody's running to the mound right now. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach. He took over last June 15th as the pitching coach. He's in his first full season. He came out of the dugout as quickly as Lucroy.
Something wrong with his finger or something?
Yeah, it looks like it. He has now called the trainer out.
It looked like he was looking at his hand saying, "I don't know, something's going on here."
Now the trainer will come out, and then the manager, Bob Melvin, is going to be right behind him. It looks like he says, "I don't have any feeling." Doesn't appear as though there's a blister or anything.
Well, he walked Donaldson on 4 pitches. They weren't even close. He's behind Donaldson, and you can see Bob Melvin, he's already got a scorecard out to figure out who he wants to bring into this game.
Yeah, and they're going to make a pitching change. Obviously, an injury pitching change. So Andrew Triggs will be out of it. It's unfortunate. He had injury problems last year, had hip labrum surgery, and missed the second half of the season. But he was off his game for sure in this inning. He got the first batter, Granderson, and then this is the last pitch he threw to Smoak.
6 pitches out of the strike zone. And he's saying something's up here. It looked like he called out his catcher.
Yeah, he did. He waved for Lucroy to come out. But he had surgery last July 13th. He last pitched on the 10th of June. He missed the entire second half of the season, and now he's got something going on with his right hand. So we're going to step away as the A's will have time to warm up Santiago Casilla, who's going to come out of the bullpen. He'll get all the pitches he needs to get ready for this game. as a major league manager, and he's had to deal with a lot of different things. And this is the last pitch of his starter, Andrew Triggs. You see him shaking his right arm out, and then he calls out the catcher, and then the pitcher, pitching coach, the trainer, the manager all came out, and they've made an injury replacement here. Santiago Casilla will take over.
Got as many pitches as he needed to warm up. He's been a closer in the past. He's been in 13 games this year. 5 times he has thrown at least 2 innings. So he can give you a couple of innings. That's the hard part about being a manager. I think you always have to plan for a starter getting knocked out early and have a game plan how you're going to put it together to finish out the game. Casillo's the first one out of the bullpen tonight.
Outside, 3-1. He inherited a 2-0 count. So if he walks Smoke, that walk will be charged to the starter, Andrew Triggs. He has not had too many inherited runners this season. 3-1 with 1 out. Donaldson walked. He's at first. Breaking ball for strike 2. Smoke tossed his bat aside. Excuse me, Mr. Umpire, it slipped.
That's exactly what you say right there. There were times if you did that to umpires, the next pitch, I don't care where it was going to be a strike. Justin thought that ball, it was a curveball. He thought it went around the plate. He's got such a good eye. I think he was right.
Full count with Donaldson at first. 1 away. Josh not running, and Smoke pops it up. Third baseman Matt Chapman over into foul territory. He makes the catch. Smoke's retired. But Smoke can't believe he had to swing at that pitch after the curveball looked to be a foot outside.
And you know he would love to say something to him. Here's the curveball that he took. That was strike 2. Looked like ball 4. He's got such a great eye. Normally when you have a breaking ball like that.
Yeah, it's a breaking ball off the plate, and it was a ball from the moment the pitcher let it go. Inevis Solarte was retired on a comebacker to the pitcher his first time up. Solarte, his average down to 244. He got off to a good start. He's been productive. 9 homers and 25 ribbies.
Boy, Josh Donaldson was trying to time up that pitcher on the mound. He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases, and he fake broke over at first base. Just testing him to see if they're paying attention to him over at first.
Fly ball to center field. Fowler is there. The inning is over. So Santiago comes out of the bullpen on very short notice and gets 2 outs to end the third. The A's have a 3-1 lead early in this one.
And that comes less from a hitting perspective than as a defender. He told me today, I don't even feel like a third baseman half the time because I'm moving around all over the place. Now Donaldson knows this is part of the evolution of the game, and added, I'm not a huge fan, but statistics back it up, and I'm a believer in stats. Donaldson did add, though, it's different at days when you're put in the shift, so you just feel different all the time.
You get different angles, and we've seen him at second, we've seen him at short, and we've seen him at third base so far in this game. And he has moved all over the diamond when they set up those shifts. Those folks aren't going very far. They're up on the edge walk, enjoying a beautiful night. It is spectacular.
Did you just have a flashback?
Oh, yeah.
From that?
Yeah. It's hard to fathom we did that. What was wrong with us?
I don't know. But we did it for a good cause. They got the best seat in the house now watching this game.
Yeah, there's none of those people looking down, I can guarantee you. And Dustin Fowler, the center fielder. Fowler is 23 years old. He's from Caldwell, Georgia. He's an 18th round pick of the Yankees in 2013. He made one start last year for the Yankees, and playing defense in right field in Chicago ruptured his patella tendon when he slammed into the wall down in the right field corner trying to make a catch. He was out for the rest of the year.
Everybody was saying Moonlight Graham. Was this going to be his only chance to play in the major leagues? But he fought back, worked very hard to get that leg back in shape, and he did get his first major league hit off the player he was traded for, Sonny Gray.
Aaron Sanchez is behind the leadoff man here in the fourth, 3-1, and he walks him. So that's 3 walks so far for Sanchez. A leadoff walk here in the fourth.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Leadoff man's aboard with a leadoff walk here at Rogers Center. Number 9 hitter Matthew Lucroy. He is a terrific hit and run batter. Not running here. Lucroy is one of the best at putting the bat on the ball. His contact rate is through the roof. He does a terrific job. He has had the 4th best contact rate in the majors. Almost 89%.
He can hit the ball hard the other way. Tough to hit and run when the pitcher's not throwing strikes consistently. Plus, you're facing a guy who's throwing 95. That's tough to play hit and run.
But we have already seen the A's try to steal a base, and they don't do that very often. But Sanchez has shown the ability to rack up some double plays. Not running here.
He is tied for the major league with 9 ground ball double plays. Tied for the major league lead with Mike Leake, Brandon McCarthy.
Lucroy strikes out. He's 0 for 2. That's 7 strikeouts for Sanchez.
When that changeup is working, he's throwing it down in the strike zone. He's got great arm action on it. Look at the ball spin and then go down. A lot of times pitchers throw a changeup and it stays on plane. This one goes down. He picks up the strikeout.
Leadoff man Marcus Semien. There goes the runner. The throw from Martin is not in time, and it bounces away from Solarte. So Fowler picks up his first stolen base in the big leagues.
His first attempt this year. Well, if you don't succeed on the hit and run, go on first movement. The throw is there, but Solarte can't handle it.
Tried to swipe tag the base runner, and the ball popped out of his glove. So that's just the 8th stolen base for Oakland this season. They are 8 for 15. Now it's 1-2 on the short stump. Aaron Loop starting to loosen up. Sanchez has thrown 82 pitches with 1 out in the 4th. The A's have a runner in scoring position with Fowler at second for Simeon. In the month of May, they came into this game as a team batting 192 with runners in scoring position. They haven't been very productive.
This guy can be. A couple of seasons ago, he hit 27 home runs, so you have to be careful with him.
Good pitch. Sanchez gets over near the line, makes the play. Simeon's retired on the out. Fowler moves to third.
I think they learned something on that previous pitch, the one that he fouled off to the right, that he was looking for an off-speed pitch. So Aaron and Russell crossed him up, threw a good fastball down the way and got a weak swing.
Matt Joyce singled and scored back in the third. He hit a first pitch fastball for a base hit to left field his last time up. Fouls that first pitch back. The A's come into this game against the Blue Jays with an 8-4 record against the AL East. That's the second best record against the East.
They've already played the Red Sox 6 games.
They won that series against Boston.
Yeah.
Another good fastball. Boston has a 17-8 record against the AL East. Then Boston is second with an 8-4 record. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, against the East are 8-12. Sanchez trying to save that run at third. Another good fastball. They really are pounding Joyce inside in this at bat.
In and up. Remember, they got him with a strikeout his first time up on a curveball. So you set that curveball up by firing high fastballs. If you're going to throw it high, be higher than high. Well, generally after a high fastball comes the curve.
The curveball just 79 miles an hour. And now Sanchez really has the upper hand. He can do just about anything he wants to with this at bat. He's ahead 0-2. Jed Lowry drove in a run with a double his last time up back in the third, part of that 3-run third inning. Donaldson broke in behind the runner at third, and Fowler dove back into third, but there was no attempt.
He's playing so far off the line. There's Josh playing so far off the line with the left-handed hitter snuck in behind him. Watch, here he comes. As a runner at third base, you can get off as far as that third baseman.
Changeup, and Joyce gets a piece of it to stay alive. Matt Joyce was an all-star in 2011 while playing for Tampa Bay. Originally drafted by the Tigers, he was traded to Tampa Bay for Edwin Jackson, starting pitcher. Sanchez gets a strikeout. That's 8 strikeouts through 4 innings, but the Blue Jays trail 3-1. But Kevin Pillar's already doubled in score tonight. Then Russell Martin and Kendrys Morales. He has an RBI. Blue Jays need to come back here. They trail by 2.
App, you can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as MLB Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Who you won't be seeing for the next 10 days, Calgary's Mike Soroka on the 10-day DL with a right shoulder strain. Buck, he is expected to return next week.
That's too bad. You hate to see any player on the DL, but certainly a young pitcher who's making his first go around in the big leagues. And Soroka got off to a good start, won his first big league start.
Who is that for? Is that for the first place Atlanta Braves?
The first place Atlanta Braves came out of nowhere. They are a game ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies, who are in second place. What's going on with that division? Look at Pilar. Takes that pitch up and away and rips it into right field, and he's going to be stopped by Stephen Piscotty. Pilar's 2 for 2 already. Continues to hit well here at home.
Yeah, 22 hits to left field coming into this game. 18 hits to center field. Now 11 hits to right field. He's using the whole field. You pitch him away, he's going to hit the ball away. Lets that ball get deep. Shoots it to right field. Good start here in the 4th for the Blue Jays, thanks to Kevin Pillar.
That's Pilar's first hit in 3 at-bats against Santiago Casilla. Russell Martin had a productive at-bat. He hit a fly ball to center field with 2 strikes and moved Pilar from second to third, and Pilar would come in to score the Blue Jays run.
Jonathan Lucroy has done a good job. First of handling the pitching staff and throwing. He's thrown out 29% of the runners. This might be a good time to run, but he's done a good job this year helping out his pitchers.
He's also very good at blocking balls in the dirt, and he had an opportunity to work with Jason Kendall when they were both in Milwaukee, and Kendall's one of the best defensive catchers that we've seen in the last 40 years.
Yeah, and he learned it's not, I don't want to block the ball, I want to absorb the ball. And that means just get over. You're not trying to catch it or block it, and it could ricochet. Just absorb the ball with your body. That keeps those runners from moving up.
That's what Bartolo Colon did last night on that comebacker. He absorbed that line drive.
Hit him in a good spot.
Got him in the belly. So Martin's got the count in his favor, 2-0. Now it's 3-0. Casilla has not pitched since Sunday against the Yankees. And he was a replacement for the injured starter, Andrew Triggs, who threw a pitch to Smoke and called the training staff out. And Bob Melvin, the manager, had to make a change. Martin takes a strike.
You know, he's thrown 18 innings this year in 13 games. He hasn't given up a home run this year. They use him for the most 2 innings, and that's it. So this might be his last inning.
Pilar faked the break, and Russell Martin takes ball 4. So the first 2 reach here in the 4th. Pilar singles, and now Martin walks, and Kendrys Morales picked up an RBI on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Bob Melvin, a former catcher, he handles all the running defenses and the bunt defenses himself.
Much like Mike Scioscia from the Los Angeles Angels, flashing signs.
Morales, the RBI, his 11th of the season. There's a block by Lucroy.
I think it's imperative as a catcher, you know this, you want to square those shoulders to the pitcher where that ball came from. You start turning your shoulders and having that ball ricochet off the chest protector, it's going to go far enough away for those runners to advance. But Lucroy shifts his feet over, and look at his shoulders still facing the pitcher. That's how you absorb the baseball.
Lucroy wanted that pitch. You could see how he hesitated before he threw the ball back to the pitcher. And now he's having a chat with the home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. Cut on and missed by Morales. You know, we talk about how good Lucroy is at blocking those balls. Despite his great skills behind the plate, Oakland has still thrown the most wild pitches in the majors. 32 wild pitches so far. He's given those base runners an extra 90 feet. Morales against Casilla is 2 for 6 with a home run. The Blue Jays need to capitalize on this start to this inning. Single and a walk.
They did last time Pilar led off. He led off with a double, another extra base hit in the 2nd inning. Got to elevate the baseball if you're Kendrys Morales. You don't want anything on the ground.
There's a ground ball to the first baseman. High throw to second. Return throw in time. Good play by Simeon as he had to reach for that high throw from the first baseman Olson. And he still was able to get the throw off in time to retire Morales to complete the double play.
Oakland had a .983 fielding percentage coming into this game. This is a tough double play. 3-6-1. As Casilla somehow is able to find the base, find the ball, and keep his foot on the base to record the out.
And then he was aware to get up quickly because Pilar was at third base. So Morales grounds into a double play. Dwight Smith Jr. He grounded out to second base. His only time up. Seungwon Oh is starting to loosen up. Loop was up last inning. Aaron Sanchez, the starter, has thrown 91 pitches through 4 innings. Striking ball, it's 0-2. It's the second time Smith has been recalled from AAA Buffalo. This is his 17th big league game. Ground ball. Lowry at second. That'll end the inning. Boy, a promising start to the inning. A single and a walk, but then the double play and a ground out. Oakland has a lead as we head to the fifth. Aaron Sanchez going back on. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio. For Oakland here in the top of the fifth, and he doesn't get the recognition he deserves as far as being a good ball player.
This stat right here, the OPS, that's the on base plus the slugging average, is a barometer that a lot of general managers like to see when they look at good young hitters. And here's one right here. It's gone up from 2015, 16 up over 800. It's now up over 900. They use that to judge, can they get on base and do they have some power? Jed Lowry's been going up over the last few years. He was a good young player when he came up with the Boston Red Sox, and they let him go.
He hit a walk-off home run off Casey Jansen at Fenway Park when he was with the Red Sox, an extra inning walk-off home run. He is now 34 years old. His best season was 2013 when he hit 290 and had 45 doubles. Last year he hit 49 doubles. To me, you hit a lot of doubles, boy. That's a sign of a good hitter.
Yeah, slugger. You've got some pop in your bat, and whenever you hit a double, you're in scoring position, putting a little bit more pressure on that pitcher. He's got to go to the stretch. He turns around, and oh my goodness, there's a guy at scoring position. I got to be perfect. Love the doubles.
Aaron Sanchez now behind 3-1. Aaron struck out Matt Joyce to end the top of the fourth. He has 8 strikeouts.
There goes the shift one more time for the Blue Jays. That's what Josh was talking about. Shifting now 3-1.
That's the book on Jed Lowry. If you can get that fastball inside and up, you can have some success against him.
Yeah, just don't go middle. That's where he's been raking this year.
They missed upstairs, and that's another walk. That's 4 walks issued by Sanchez, and that's going to be the end of the night. John Gibbons has already made the call to the bullpen. Aaron has thrown 97 pitches. He has 8 strikeouts, but he's also walked 4 batters. And the Blue Jays trail 3-1. So Sanchez will go 4 innings plus a batter and turn things over to the bullpen. Sanchez is out of the game. Chris Davis, the batter, sent 1-0 coming in to face him with a man at first and nobody out. jam when he struck out Matt Chapman to leave the bases loaded. Then he had a very good second inning, but Matt Joyce got a base hit to start it in the third inning with 1 out, and then double home run, and he leaves and turns things over to Sen-Wan Oh.
20th game for O this season. He's done a good job coming out of the pen. He's 1-0, a 145 earned run average. He hasn't pitched for 5 days. Last pitched against the Boston Red Sox. They stretched him out to an inning and a third, his longest outing of the season, other than those 2 innings in Tampa. So they're going to need a couple of innings out of him today.
Chris Davis is 2 for 2. He homered to right field in the third inning. Had a single to center in the first.
That home run that he hit that thing flat-footed. Normally you'll see batters load up on that back foot and then step towards the pitcher when they start to swing. He just loads up and then doesn't step. He creates a lot of bat speed.
The home run was the 13th home run of the season for Davis, and now he has joined a host of players with 13 to lead the majors. Mookie Betts, Ozzie Albies, Bryce Harper, Jose Ramirez, Manny Machado, and Joey Gallo all have 13 home runs, along with Chris Davis.
And that 2-run home run now gives him, in his career as an Oakland A, 250 RBIs. Puts him in a nice category.
And he has his 3rd hit of the game. Smith cuts it off. He throws it to third base. Davis should have been at second on that throw. The throw went to third with nobody out, and he had a chance to move into second base. He's 3 for 3 to start this game.
Lowry had a good read on that ball. The outfield are going to play a little bit deeper with this slugging team, the Oakland A's up there. So they're playing a couple of steps back towards the warning track. And when Smith has to go over, backhand the ball, that's too long of a throw for him to get the runner at third base. Another hanging breaking ball, and he rips it to left field.
Matt Olson has walked in, grounded out to Donaldson, who was playing in the shift. Now the Blue Jays have to play a little more straight up with runners at the corners. There have only been 3 A's batters that have faced O in the past. Matt Joyce, Jonathan Lucroy, and Marcus Semien. So there are a lot of hitters here that are getting their first look at O.
He'll be looking at that card saying, okay, what can I go to?
There's a deep fly ball to right. Curtis Granderson doesn't see it, and it doesn't make any difference. It's out of the ballpark. A 3-run home run. The 7th of the season for Matt Olson. The A's with 2 home runs tonight. They continue to lead the majors in hitting home runs on the road. They've now hit 43 home runs away from Oakland.
You can see how big and strong Matt Olson is. Those arms, and when you throw a breaking ball over the middle plate, you got to get it off the plate. He just muscled that ball and golfed it out of here.
That's the 15th home run the A's have hit on this road trip. Looked like a slider that stayed over the middle of the plate.
Big and strong. He recognizes that he started after that ball but kept his hands back.
There's another base hit to left field. It's going to get to the wall. Chapman is headed for second, and he'll get there. O has given up 3 straight hits since he's come into the game. The double is the 5th of the season for Matt Chapman.
They've got some guys who can hit. You mentioned the numbers on the road. Here's another one. Chapman Had an infield hit his last time up. Now he gets a pitch on the inner half, about belt high. Double clutches and then rips it to left field for extra bases.
8 hits for Oakland. Half of them have been extra base hits. A pair of homers and a pair of doubles. (6-1) Oakland. Stephen Piscotty has struck out both times he's come to the plate.
He has been susceptible to that breaking ball off the plate, down and away. Got to go back to it.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Matt Olson, his home run, a 3-run shot, his 7th homer of the season. 2-2 to Piscotty. Fouled off Russell Martin. Right off the collarbone of that right shoulder. Off the end of the bat. Urania across the diamond. It's the first out of the inning. So Aaron Sanchez and Andrew Triggs, the 2 starters, both out of the game. Sanchez goes 4 innings plus a batter, throws 97 pitches. He gives up 4 runs on 5 hits, walked 4 and struck out 8. He gave up a home run to Chris Davis in the 3-run 3rd inning.
Another 3 runs this sitting, all on the home run. One of those runs was charged to Aaron.
The infield is in now with a runner at 3rd and 1 up. Dustin Fowler has struck out and walked. Ball on a strike to the center fielder. Fowler was one of 3 players the Oakland A's acquired when they traded Sonny Gray to the Yankees. That was July 31st last year. Jorge Mateo and James Caprillion. Caprillion had Tommy John surgery and he's got some shoulder issues right now.
That's right. They're shutting him down in the minor leagues. Yeah, they paid a price. The Yankees did to get Sonny Gray. I thought Oakland did a great job. Those are some of their best prospects the Yankees had to offer.
Caprillion, a big college pitcher at UCLA, but he has since undergone Tommy John surgery. Sonny Gray, formerly of the A's, now pitching for the Yankees. 2-2 pitch, base hit to right. That's going to score another run. Granderson playing deep in right field. A big turn by Dustin Fowler. He drives home the 4th run of this inning. We told you Oakland can hit. They have hit 15 home runs on this road trip. This is their 7th game.
Yeah, they face the Yankees, the Red Sox, now the Blue Jays. That's a splitter that is up.
Yeah, this is a tough road trip for Oakland when you have to play the Yankees, the Red Sox, and Boston on the same trip. Doesn't happen very often. The last time that happened with Oakland was 1997.
Get it out of the way early if you're Oakland.
Granderson sees this one and he's there to make the catch. It's still twilight here at Rogers Center, and he never saw the home run off the bat of Matt Olson. You can see how challenging that sky is. It's a very light sky, and sometimes you lose that baseball when it gets up in the air. Aaron Loup up for a second time. 2 outs now. 7-1 Oakland.
They played a night game last night in Boston. Didn't get into town until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Took some batting practice today. And they don't look worse for wear.
No, not at all. And you know what? They're a West Coast team, and they know there's challenging travel back east, and you just got to suck it up and come out ready to play every game.
At least they've been in this time zone for a week. Your body can readjust.
Oh, as they head 1-2 to Marcus Semien. Oakland a game under 500 at 21-22. They're in 4th place in the AL West. Houston's starting to show its dominance. They've won 2 in a row, and they're getting great pitching. They are now 2 games ahead of the Angels. The Angels will be here at Rogers Center Tuesday night for a 3-game series.
Yeah, that Oakland, or excuse me, that Houston pitching staff, that starting staff is scary. The guys that they can run out there night after night. When you've got Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers as your 4 and 5, that's pretty good.
The ERA leaders in the American League. Justin Verlander, Houston, 105. Garrett Cole, Houston, 175. Charlie Morton, Houston, 203. That's how you win World Series.
Yeah.
Great starting pitching.
Dominant pitching staffs like that. Dominant starters.
That ball gets away from Martin, and Fowler will go to second. John Givens has made the call to the bullpen, so Sun Wong Oh gets 2 outs, and he gives up a 3-run home run to Matt Olson. There are 2 aboard. Matt Joyce is the hitter, and there'll be a lefty, Aaron Loup, coming out of the bullpen to try to close out this A's team here in the 5th. And 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Oakland has scored 4 runs this inning, and Aaron Loop's trying to close it out. He'll face Matt Joyce.
17 and a third innings this year, 20 hits, 7 earned runs. That computes to a 363 earned run average for Loup. Opponent's hitting 290 against him. He'll get a left-hander in Matt Joyce. Try to finish off this inning, maybe get another inning under your belt as you try to piece this together.
Luke pitched the 8th inning last night in New York, retired to side and order with a strikeout. Matt Joyce, he's 1 for 3. He has struck out twice.
Aaron has faced him 5 times in his career, and he hasn't have hit against him. So maybe he's going to come in and just face this one batter. Will he get him?
Slicing down the left field line, Dwight Smith Jr. is going to run out of room. It's into the seats. The A's have lost 12 of their last 13 games they've played in this ballpark, including 6 straight. But they have a 7-1 lead. Bob Melvin knows this has been a tough stop for his ball club here at Rogers Center.
Outscored by 33 runs in those 13 games. And out homered almost 2-1. Different story tonight. Home run by Olson, home run by Chris Davis, accounting for 5 of the 7 runs so far.
1-2 pitch up the middle. Urania throws on the run. Low throw scooped by Smoke. Justin Smoke does it again, ending the inning. Luke gets out of it, but Oakland scores 4 runs. Matt Olson with a 3-run home run. Second of the night for Oakland.
The first 20,000 fans here will receive a Let's Go Blue Jays bath towel presented by Boston Pizza. That'll be the 3rd game of the series with Oakland. 107. StartBlueJays.com for tickets. By the way, guys, Andrew Triggs, we saw him leave the game earlier. Right forearm nerve discomfort is the diagnosis.
That's unfortunate, and you could see he was having some trouble in that inning, and he threw 1 pitch to Smoke and then called for the catcher, and eventually the trainer and the manager came out. He's out of the game. Richard Urania, he breaks his bat, little looper into center, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Fowler plays it on a hop. Urania lined out sharply to the shortstop in his first at bat. Here he gets the leadoff single off Casilla.
He's looking good at the plate. He hit a laser yesterday for a home run from the right side. Slider down and in. You mentioned the line drive out. This time he makes up for that line drive out by breaking his bat, dumping this ball in front of the center fielder. Casilla saying, come. What? But you know, you've got to play back. If you don't think you can catch that ball as an outfielder, you've got to lay back. If you're a little bit too aggressive and you go after it, it'll bounce over your head for extra bases. Fowler not real familiar playing on this type of surface.
And he hasn't had that many games in the big leagues. So back to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson is 0 for 2. There's plenty of time for the Blue Jays to come back. They trail by 6, but the Blue Jays scored 12 yesterday. That snapped a streak of 11 straight games in which the Blue Jays have scored 5 or fewer runs, but they scored 12 runs on 15 hits yesterday. No reason they can't do that again tonight.
Well, the guy in the middle of it, a lot of those rallies is standing at the plate. Curtis had a couple of doubles yesterday after Jay Happ's singles. It really set the stage for the Jays to score runs.
Curtis will make a pitcher work. He averages over 4.5 pitches per at bat. That's the highest pitch per plate appearance in the majors. He's not going to swing at borderline pitches, and he takes so long. 2 on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Gosman gives up 6 earned runs on 8 hits over 4 2/3, and the problems for the Orioles continues. Their starting pitching has been horrible this season. So Donaldson now has a chance to get back into this game. Mentioned Donaldson hitting against his former club. Has done a great job.
He's had 4 home runs in his career against his former club, the Oakland A's.
Yusmeiro Petit starts to loosen up for Oakland.
And he was telling me today, I said, do you get any added incentive playing against Oakland? He says, absolutely. You always want to show the team they made a mistake in trading you.
Yeah, you're always focused a little bit more keenly when you play a former team. He's been clutch so far, just like the rest of the time he spent here with the Blue Jays. He's always been able to deliver big hits.
8 hits with runners in scoring position, including 2 home runs. Home run right here, and the Jays are back in it.
And fastball just 89 miles an hour, but Casilla is ahead 1-2. Casilla came into the ball game with 1 out in the 3rd inning when the starter Andrew Triggs had the lead. You heard Arash Madani give us an update on the issue, a nerve problem in his right arm. Breaking ball off the plate. Casilla last pitched on Sunday against the Yankees in New York.
He was signed by the A's in 2000. They actually released him 9 years later and then signed him back after he was a free agent and after the 16 season. How about that? You sign him. He pitches in your organization for a few years, then you release him. He goes to the Giants, had a couple of good years with the Giants, then signed back with the A's when he became a free agent.
Worked out well for him. He didn't have to move. Stayed in the Bay Area. 2-2 pitch to Donaldson. He goes too far. He strikes out. Trying to check his swing, but went too far. He strikes out for a 2nd time. Casillas' slider gets Donaldson.
Here's the slider. That's a big out. Josh just can't hold up. It looks like it's coming right on that outside corner and then drops.
Justin Smoke. He takes a strike. Smoke is 0 for 1. Everybody looking at the information, checking out what they're dealing with in Casilla. He has now thrown a total of 34 pitches. That's the second highest pitch count he's had this season. On Sunday in New York, he threw 44 pitches over 2 innings. Gave up a run on 2 hits and walked a couple, struck out 2.
Sometimes you have to improvise if you're a manager and your starter gets knocked out early, like they did tonight. Sometimes you have to push those relievers just a little bit further to get through 9 innings.
0-2 to Smoke.
They're not going to abuse him as that ball gets away from Lucroy. They're not going to abuse him. Sometimes you just have to go a little bit deeper. Good read by Urania.
It's another wild pitch charged to the Oakland pitching staff. That's 33 wild pitches this season. That's the most in the majors.
Going for the strikeout through a hard breaking ball.
Another breaking ball. Bottom of the 5th inning, runners at the corners. Chance for the Blue Jays to make a dent in this 6-run deficit.
Big slugger at the plate, and Smoke, a left-handed slugger, so the third baseman's playing off the line. Urania is going to try and take advantage of that and get as far off as he can at third base. He can come even further if he wants to.
Smoke with that walk in the 1st inning has now reached base in 36 of the 39 games he's played in this year. Good take. Now it's a full count. Solarte is on deck. Urania bouncing off a third.
Casilla caught the ball from the catcher, turned his back on home plate, and slowly walked back to the pitching rubber. Meanwhile, Urania was just coming down the line. You don't want to take your eye off that runner at third base.
Smoke fouls it off. Granderson was not running on the 3-2 pitch. There's just 1 out. Got the cleanup hitter up next in Solarte. So he hopes Smoke can reach. He has hit well with runners in scoring position. He's got 1 at third base now in this at bat. The Blue Jays' magic number this season is 5 runs scored. When they score 5 or more, they're 18-0. They're going to need more than 5 to win tonight. Smoke hits it into center field. Fowler coming in quickly, and it's underneath his glove. Urania is in to score. Granderson's headed for third, and Smoke slides into second. Fowler didn't get a very good read on that ball either.
And that's what happens when you make up your mind you're going to go for it and then miss it. Those runners, they start whizzing around those bases. Watch him out in center field. It's off the end of the bat by Smoke. He hesitates just for a second, dives, can't come up with it. That'll send Granderson to third, Smoke to second base, and Santiago to the dugout.
Santiago out of the game. He gave up a couple of bloop hits in this inning, and the RBI double by Smoke. Yusmeiro Petit into the game to face Solarte. Inherit runners at second and third with one out, trying to keep the Blue Jays in check here as they're making a rally here in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, so Petit's job, limit the damage. He doesn't have a record in 20 games this year, but he's thrown 24 2/3 innings. He's got exceptional stuff in command. He won't overpower you, but he's got great curveball. He's got a cutter, a nice little changeup. He'll use his fastball very judiciously.
First pitch swinging, and Solarte rips it into right field. Granderson's in to score. Smoke stops at third, and Solarte picks up another RBI. His 26th of the season as Granderson scores.
And what he will do, Petit, he's always around the plate. Very rarely does he walk batters. He had 101 strikeouts last year as a reliever in 60 games and 91 relief innings. So you come up, you get ready. That looked like a cutter that didn't cut. Stayed up for Solarte, and he rips it into right field. Justin Smoke has to hold up to make sure that ball gets down. So he can't score from second base.
Kevin Pillar's already 2 for 2 in the game. Average up to 311.
I was talking to him today about taking advantage of shifts or openings on the infield. We were talking about teams that might overshift against him or have the second baseman play closer to the bag and the runner at first base you have to hold on. He said, I take advantage. I try to take advantage of that hole on the right side when it calls for it. And with Petit's cutter and his fastball that he uses, he'll keep it away. This is a great opportunity for him to take advantage of that hole on the right side.
His base hit in the fourth was a line drive down the right field line. He doubled in the gap in left center. Pops this one up. Fowler, shallow center. Smoke will come home. Here's the throw. It's cut off, and they throw wild past the second, and now Solarte's going to go into second base, and he's safely in there. So Smoke tags up and scores on a very shallow fly ball to center. Pillar gets an RBI with the sac fly, and Solarte moves up when the ball got away.
What a crazy play right there that just happened. There was so much happening on that one. Smoke is going to try and score. And the throw initially from the center fielder is offline. Watch the first baseman come over. He's going to cut the ball off and try and help it, but Lucroy had already said, all right, he's going to score the run. Olsen cuts it off. There's nobody at home, but watch the throw as he tries to get the runner. Drills the umpire.
He almost hit Adrian Johnson with that throw from the backstop. Russell Martin hacks at the first pitch and fouls it out. Boy, there was a lot going on in that play.
Yeah, that's... Well, the bottom line is Pillar gets a sacrifice fly and an RBI. The Blue Jays get one run closer to the A's. That makes it 7-4. And here's Petit saying, hey, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
An error is charged to the first baseman, Olsen. His first error of the season. Martin hits a high fly ball to right. Piscotty has room. He makes the catch that ends the inning, but the Blue Jays put a dent in that 6-run deficit. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Oakland with a 7-4 lead. Vince Velasquez, who has gone 6 innings, allowed no runs on 4 hits. Aaron Nola's pitching very well. Of course, they got Jake Arrieta too. So that tells you all you need to know about how you win. You win with good starting pitching.
Good starting pitching, and it's going to get you closer. This will be the 4th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays. 3rd reliever, John Axford. He's been great in 18 games. Look at those sterling numbers. Doesn't have a record, but his ERA is 1.31. He's thrown 20 2/3 innings and just 7 base on balls. I think that's been the key for him. He's just been pounding that strike zone with that cutter, or excuse me, that sinker, that 2-seamer, and he's been getting a lot of ground ball outs. He's had some quick innings. Last time he pitched was last Sunday, an inning and a third against the Red Sox.
There's that fastball that Martin can't handle. It's a ball to Jed Lowry. Axford pitched 1.5 years for Oakland. Entire 16 season and then 22 games in 17, and they let him go and he sat out the rest of the season.
Yeah, get things settled, and he is so happy. We had a chance to visit with him before the ball game today. He's so happy pitching here in Toronto, getting a chance to pitch for Canada, and it shows. It shows in the way that he has been pitching on the mound.
Curveball. 2-1. He had a chance to have a bit of a meetup with the manager, Bob Melvin. Came over and talked to some of the A's players. But after they let him go, he decided not to accept some of the offers that were extended to him. Russell got one on the left shoulder that time. He took a shot on his right collarbone early in the game, and thinking I should have been a third baseman.
There's nothing you could do about that. Sinker to a lefty, you're going to get a lot of these. That one off the left arm, right around the bicep area.
No padding there. It's a 2-2 count to Jed Lowry. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. Lowry had an RBI double off Sanchez in the 3rd. That snapped a personal 0 for 10 against the Jays. There's a good fastball at 95. Axford strikes out Lowry.
Save big at the outdoor living event at Home Hardware, on from May 16th to June 5th. Here's how.
Bit of a shot of downtown Toronto. The sun has gone down. The twilight is gone. It's now very dark, and the lights have taken full effect. Chris Davis, a terrific start to his night. He's 3 for 3 with a 2-run home run, couple of singles. He's scored a pair of runs and driven in 2.
It's a nice, free, and easy delivery from John Axford, and that ball 95 with movement now. He's not allowed to run in his last 9 games, and he's had 9 strikeouts. Watch out.
So Davis will go to first base. He's reached base all 4 times he's come to the plate. The 3 hits, the 3rd time this season he's had 3 hits in a game. That ball runs up and in and catches Davis, and then it hit the umpire as well. Well, it's a rough night around home plate tonight.
Lots of action, lots happening around the plate. That last inning, that sacrifice fly by Pilar was crazy.
First baseman Matt Olson homered his last time up. This is Olson's first career game here at Rogers Center, so he has hit his first career home run in this ballpark.
You got the shift going on. You can see Richard Urania now moving back over to that side of second base. Josh Donaldson pointing out who's covering what and where on any given ball. There's Urania talking again. Hey, I got the steal attempt, or you have the steal attempt. I'll be here if you get a ground ball. Communication all the time on the field.
Especially with the shifts and how frequently they shift mid at bats. Inside. 2-2 now to Olson. John Axford had a shoulder issue last year. He injured himself kind of over exercising and just decided, you know what, instead of going out and trying to pitch this season, I'm going to step away, get healthy, and it's paid off.
He has thrown 95 from the first day of spring training. And he really opened up the eyes of the Blue Jays coaching staff.
Matt Chapman is on deck. 3-2 with Davis at first and one out. He's not running. Little chopper fouled at the plate.
Olson hit a home run his last at bat, his 7th of the season. It was a curveball from Sungwon Oh. Stayed back on it and lifted it. Just lifted that ball out of the ballpark. 3 RBIs give him 19 now on the season.
Olson strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Axford here in the 6th. His fastball is electric. A lot of late movement on this 2-seamer.
There's the 2-seamer, and I bet you he throws a heavy ball too. A lot like Dwayne Ward used to throw that fastball with movement, and it feels like a bowling ball when you do hit it. Olson strikes out for the first time.
Chapman rips the first pitch, and the ball boy had a swing and a miss. Hey, you got to catch that ball. You're down there to protect those fans. And generally, that's when people get hurt. You say, oh, he's got a glove. He's going to catch it.
Use the glove. It's the hot corner, right?
See, he had a swing and a miss. Fortunately, he hit an empty seat. Chapman is 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Chapman, you mentioned it. He's a budding star. He's just 25 years old.
I think so. When you watch him, he's got all the moves offensively, defensively, at third base, power hitting third baseman. That's what you want at third base. You want some power. And he's got it.
There's a high fly ball deep to left field, and he is going to hit it out of the ballpark. A 2-run home run for Matt Chapman. Their 3rd home run of the ball game. They've had a pair of 2-run homers and a 3-run homer, and as they have done all season long, they're scoring their runs on the long ball.
Yeah, just like the Blue Jays, they'll score their runs on home runs. That was an inside fastball. That'll give him 8 home runs now and put him over 20 RBIs on the season. But what's impressive about that swing is how quickly he got to that baseball. Remember, Axford's throwing 95. That heater in. Look how quickly he gets the bat through the zone. And that's a long way down the left field line.
Stephen Piscotty, he's 0 for 3. Oakland, 9 runs on 10 hits. They've hit 3 more home runs on this road trip. They now have hit 16 home runs. And this is their 7th game of the road trip. And they have made stops in New York and Boston and now Toronto. So they're doing it against some pretty good pitching staffs.
Making those ballparks look small.
Piscotty is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and Oakland storms right back and gets them back.
That's how you take the momentum back. Davis got hit by a pitch, and then Chapman hit a 2-run home run. Put the momentum back over in that first base dugout.
Fly ball into center. That's going to get down in front of Kevin Pillar as Piscotty has his first hit of the night. Little flare into center field. Center fielder Dustin Fowler, he has walked, singled, and struck out. The A's now with 3 home runs in this game. They have 7 games with 3 home runs. They have a 4-homer game and a 5-home run game.
That gives them 58 home runs now on the season. That puts them among the leaders in Major League Baseball.
Toronto and Boston are tied with 59 home runs at the start of play tonight. Cleveland leads with 64. So now Oakland has moved into 3rd. Russell Martin with some encouraging words for his pitcher, Axford.
That ties them with the Angels and the Yankees before tonight's play for the most home runs as a team in the major leagues.
The Angels will play later on tonight. They're taking on Tampa Bay out in Anaheim. Yankees are off. There's a strike. With 9 runs, the A's continue to ride the long ball. That ball hit in front of home plate, and Russell's not sure where it is. As the ball bounced in front of Russell and went straight up in the air. Piscotty moves to second base on the wild pitch.
Fastball that he buries. It looked like he didn't get the glove on it. Looks like that one might have hit him in the forearm. Been hit 3 times tonight.
3-1 to Fowler with 2 outs, a runner in scoring position for Oakland. Broken bat. Urania at short will throw to Smoke just in time to retire Fowler. That ends the inning. But Oakland gets 2 more. Matt Chapman with his 3rd hit of the night hits a 2-run home run to left. Home run number 8 for Chapman. And the A's have a 9-4 lead. Oh, Jamie, you did much better than I would have done with that word, that name. Morales goes after the first pitch, and it's a grounder to short. Chapman throws him out. They were playing him in the shift, one away.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
One of the pretty shots of the lake shore looking back toward Rogers Center and CN Tower. The ferry's making its way back to Center Island. Dwight Smith Jr. has grounded out twice to the second baseman. He bunts it foul on the first pitch.
Why not?
Get on base.
Yeah, you've got 5 hits tonight. You got to figure out a way to get on base. Get back into the ball game. Petit was a nice sign by the Oakland A's. They signed him this winter to a 2-year, $10 million deal. Again, he had 100 strikeouts last year out of the bullpen. He did make 1 start. But he throws strikes. He's around the plate. You can count on him for multiple innings. It's a good pickup.
Yeah, he's kind of like a utility pitcher. He pitches in many different situations. He signed a deal with Anaheim last year on February 15th, and he made the opening day roster and spent the entire season in the big leagues. But he appeared in a career high 60 games, went 5-2, had 4 saves and a career low ERA at 2.76. He turned that into a nice contract.
Yeah, $10 million 2-year contract with Oakland. I think these guys become so valuable, these types of pitchers. We'll call them swingmen in that bullpen. They can give you multiple innings if you need to. Come out and make a spot start.
Lowry dives and gets up and throws the first in time. A nice play by the second baseman to take a hit away from Dwight Smith Jr.
Lowry got a good jump on that, and watch his angle that he takes after this ball. He gives a little ground. He's in short right field. Gets a fast runner over at first base. He had a play earlier today where he went home instead of getting the out that time. Fine play to get out number 2.
Richard Urania. He goes after the first pitch and lifts a high pop-up right on the edge of the dirt. Lowry waits for it. Petit has a quick inning. Retires a side in order in the 6th.
The red one you might be able to see there is courtesy of Fred Van Vliet of the Toronto Raptors from down the street. Now, in and on the field, away from the field, trying to teach a young player the ins and outs of being a big leaguer, that man, Curtis Granderson, who has really helped Smith. Smith told me, honestly, I could spend all day talking about how much Curtis has helped me with so many aspects of this entire business. One generation, Buck, paying it forward to the next.
Absolutely, and Curtis has been terrific in that aspect of his presence here with the Blue Jays. He's had an impact on youngsters and veterans as well. We move to the 7th, and a new pitcher into the game for the Blue Jays will be Ryan Tepera.
Ryan needs some work. He last worked in a ball game in that series versus the Red Sox back on May the 12th. Threw an inning, actually struck out the side in that inning. So he hasn't pitched since, so he needs some work. He's 3-1 in 19 2/3 innings. This is his 22nd game of the season. That puts him in the top 5 for relief appearances in the American League.
Tepera is the 4th reliever to work tonight. Aaron Sanchez started. He went 4 innings plus a batter. And then Loop, Axford, and now Tepera. Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher, is 0 for 3. Solarte made a nice play on him in the 2nd inning. Take a hit away from him, a hot shot up the middle. A one hopper that Solarte backhanded and threw from his knees to throw him out. Good fastball from Tepera.
It's amazing when you get a little bit of rest what that ball can do. Like I said, he hasn't pitched in 5 days. 2-seamer, hard slider.
Poked up the first base line. That's a fair ball. Smoke steps on the bag. Lucroy is 0 for 4. The A's are trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here at Rogers Center. They have lost 12 of their last 13 games played here in Toronto. They've had a good road trip. They went 1-2 in New York against the Yankees, but they won 2 of 3 against the Red Sox at Fenway.
One of those pitchers who won the game, Sean Manaea. We're going to see Manaea. He no-hit the Red Sox earlier this season.
Out in Oakland. Marcus Semien goes after that first pitch and fouls it out of play. Manaea will pitch on Saturday, and the Blue Jays have suggested that it might not be Joe Biagini. They just haven't made an announcement officially as to who's going to pitch that game, but Manaea, he's having a great season. Manaea's 5-4 with a .235 earned run average. It's a good slider. Manaea also leads the majors in fewest pitches per innings pitched, just over 13 pitches per inning. And you know what? That's part of why he was able to throw a no-hitter. Kept the defense on their toes and made some good plays in support of it.
Kept the pitch count down, and he's not throwing as hard as he did in the last couple of years. That might be a key for him also.
Ball is looped into right field. Granderson comes over and makes the running pitch.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
And talking about Sean Manaea's no-hitter, on this day 20 years ago, David Wells threw a perfect game for the New York Yankees. And it was the first regular season perfect game for the Yankees since that Don Larson perfect game in the World Series. There's some interesting sidebars to that perfect game. Wells was very nervous, very anxious. He got late into the game in the 7th. Wanted to talk to somebody, but nobody would talk to him because they knew that there was a perfect game going on. So finally, David Cone came over and said, "Hey, David, I think it's about time you break out the knuckleball."
Lighten the mood just a little bit.
Well, that's a perfect conversation between David Wells and David Cone. And then David Cone would go on and throw his own perfect game the next year in 1999. Matt Joyce, the count in his favor. He fouls it back. It's now 2-1.
In that game you were talking about with David Wells. Paul Molitor played in that game for Minnesota. It was against the Twins.
Molly obviously was 0 for 3. He had a strikeout in his 3 plate appearances.
120 pitches for David Wells.
Perfect. Pat Mears made the last out. He popped up, and that was it. A perfect game for David. Foul tip off the glove. Jorge Posada was his catcher. Boy, that was a terrific team, wasn't it? That Yankee team, 1998.
Jeter, O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams. I mean, they had stars, but their complementary players were great players.
Scott Brocious was batting 9th, playing 3rd. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Brian Tepera has a good inning of work. He strikes out Matt Joyce. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays trail by 5.
In Regina tomorrow. The host Regina Pats, 6 weeks off. They take on OHL champ Hamilton. The 100th Memorial Cup begins tomorrow night on Sportsnet.
Buck, it's quite an event, the 100th Memorial Cup, and you could see that beautiful logo capturing that in Regina. Bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Curtis Granderson is 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the 5th. Blue Jays made a move in the 5th. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits, but top of the 6th, Oakland came right back with a 2-run home run off the bat of Matt Chapman.
That stole the momentum away. Now it's up to the Blue Jays to get it back. This is the guy to do it. Get on base, get a couple of guys on base, and then pop one out of here.
Petit in relief of Santiago Casilla. Casilla went 2 innings, charged with 3 earned runs on 3 hits. Ball 3 to Granderson.
They won't throw him a strike, will they?
They're trying. Curtis has walked 19.8% of his at-bats. That's the 2nd best rate in baseball, 2nd to Bryce Harper of the Nationals. He'll make a pitcher work. He walks for a 2nd straight at-bat.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Well, Josh Donaldson will step in the box with a man at first and nobody out. Donaldson has struck out twice and walked.
Petit is working on his third inning of relief. The most he has thrown innings-wise this year is just 2.
But their starter got knocked out in the third with an injury. Bob Melvin had to go to the bullpen very quickly tonight. Maybe Casilla in that third inning. They have given Donaldson a steady diet of breaking balls.
They've shown him fastball early and then breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball. Pretty soon I think Josh is going to go up there looking for it. He's going to sit on a breaking ball and he's going to hit one hard.
Josh came into this game with a .324 career average against Oakland. That fastball still off the plate. They haven't thrown him a fastball strike tonight. The Blue Jays have lost 8 of their last 11 here at Rogers Center. Texas, Seattle, and Boston, the teams they have faced, and there's another breaking ball. Donaldson strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, they just show him the fastball. That's just for show. They want to get him out with an off-speed pitch. Petit throws that breaking ball off the plate. 3rd time tonight that JD's gone down.
Justin Smoke had an RBI double in the 5th. Blue Jays scored 3 runs that inning. Smoke's double was just a little fly ball that fell in front of the center fielder who dove for it, and then it got past him. And Smoke ended up with its second. One count on the Blue Jays first baseman.
They have constantly worked him away tonight. He walked his first time up. Looked like he walked his second time up on a breaking ball outside. Ended up popping up and then doubled on a ball off the end of the bat.
Pulls this one on the ground. It's bobbled at second by Lowry, and all they're going to get is a runner at first as Granderson moves to second. A little bit out of position when you play in that shift, and Lowry was trying to make a play to second. When he did that, he booted the ball, and all he could get was smoke.
Got to get the communication together on who's covering on a ground ball like that. But they record the out. That's what you're looking for now. You're just looking for outs late in the ball game.
Enervis Solarte had an RBI single in the 5th inning. Goes after the first pitch and hits it high and deep down the left side, but that's going to slice into the seats. In that 5th inning, Smoke had an RBI double, Solarte an RBI single, and Kevin Pillar a sacrifice fly RBI. At that point, it was a 7-4 game, just a 3-run deficit, but then the A's got 2 more. Breaking ball just off the outside corner. The A's bullpen is quiet, and they have asked a lot of Petit here tonight.
He's made it look easy since he has come into the ball game. Had a 1-2-3 inning last inning. There's a good pitch. The most pitches he has thrown in an outing this year is 42, so they can stretch him out and give him 3 innings. They need to.
Tyler Clippard appears as though he's coming into the game. Clippard did not pitch in the 2 games in New York. Caught by Simeon. as Solarte is robbed of another base hit. Simeon doing a nice job at short tonight in support of Petit.
Bullpen this season. He said, I haven't really taken a different approach. He said it's business as usual. Clipper told me in a perfect world, set roles are awesome and can be beneficial. But he said, with our experienced bullpen that have done so many different things in their careers, it bodes well for the situation we're in, and we cover every aspect Gibby asks of us. He said, you see good results because of that. Clipper, of course, has been predominantly a high leverage guy since late 2010. He said, that's what I thrive for, Buck, and that's what I enjoy.
Absolutely. He's been terrific. A great sign by the Blue Jays as he has really added to the depth of that bullpen.
He's got 4 wins out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. That leads American League relief pitchers. He's pitched in big situations, held the opposition, and gave the offense a chance to come back and score runs and get wins.
The Blue Jays bullpen has pitched to a .302 earned run average coming into this game. That's second best in the American League. Ched Lowry has scored a couple of runs. Again, they're trying to exploit that weakness of Lowry up and in on the inner part of the plate. Lowry has walked twice, had an RBI double in the third, and struck out in the sixth. Changeup popped in the air. Dwight Smith Jr. coming in. He makes the catch. One away. Drive of the game brought to you by the new 2018 Civic Si. When it leads off, it leads for good.
Third inning, after an RBI double by Jed Lowry, Chris Davis steps up and does this. Homers to right field. His 13th home run of the season. That gave Oakland a 3-1 lead. And they haven't looked back. They will go on to hit a couple more home runs tonight. That home run by Davis gave him 350 RBIs in 347 games as an Oakland Athletic. Puts him in some pretty interesting company, some other sluggers from the A's.
Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, some big RBI guys, and Davis is right there with him.
Yeah, Ruben Sierra's in there. Dave Kingman had 250 RBIs as an Athletic, did that in 356 games. McGuire, 346 games to get to 250 RBIs. This is Chris Davis's 347th game as an A.
Clippard is ahead 0-2. Took a shot at that outside corner and missed. Tyler pitched for Oakland in 2015. As you see, Ryan Dahl, a hard-throwing righty, getting ready to come into this game. Clifford had 17 saves for Oakland that season he was with the A's. There's a shot at that big vacated hole at second, and Davis has a 4-hit game.
He has been on base all 5 at bats. He's going to take advantage of the Blue Jays shifting. Look at that. With 2 strikes, why not take a shot? That's an easy base hit. Little splitter. Recognizes it. It's a ground ball to the right side.
He's had quite a game, his first 4-hit game of the season. That's his 4th career 4-hit game. His first since May of 2015. He's had a very good night at the plate, including his 13th home run. It ties him for the lead in the majors. Tyler is now 33 years old, pitching in his 12th big league season. That changeup floats up and away for ball 2. Tyler's longest stint with the ball club was with the Nationals. He started out with the Yankees in 2007, got in 6 games, all starts. And then he went to Washington, spent 7 years with the Nationals. There's another changeup, and that's going to be over the Blue Jays dugout, out of play. Tyler has pitched with the Yankees, the Nationals, Arizona, the Mets, Oakland, Houston, Toronto, and the White Sox.
And probably picked a little something up from each one of those spots. He is a smart guy. He'll go and talk to his new teammates and say, hey, how did you hold that pitch? You know, teach me that pitch. And he's always experimenting, always trying to get better. He says, if you're not getting better, you're going to be out of the game.
Yeah, he really picked up some things down in Houston when he joined the Astros. He pitched in 16 regular season games with Houston. And of course, they're loaded with talented veteran pitchers down there, and he's always trying to get better. He got into the analytical department down there and asked him to check out his spin rate, his release point, all those things that he did well when he was good. And here he strikes out Olsen on that splitter in the dirt.
And he's been good this year for the Jays.
We asked Tyler, why would you go to Houston and ask them about their analytics? He said, I had heard that they had a real good analytical department, and I went to them and talked to some of their pitchers, and they suggested, yeah, check with them. And looking at the results from some of those guys that have gone there, Verlander and Garrett Cole, they have gotten better since they've joined the Astros.
Charlie Morton was a decent pitcher when he was with Pittsburgh. He's gone down there. He's an all-star.
Matt Chapman has had a 3-hit game tonight. The A's have 9 runs on 12 hits. Chapman has never had 4 hits in a game in his short big league career. Adrian Johnson took a shot off the mask. I tell you what, we talked about it earlier. Home plate has been a danger zone here tonight, both for the catchers, the umpires. And watch this foul tip go right back into the face mask of the umpire, Adrian Johnson. Johnson almost got a hit on a throw from Petit, who was backing up home plate. Martin blocks that breaking ball.
He says it's going to take a lot more than that foul tip to knock me out of this game. Both the catcher and the umpire. It's been rough back there tonight.
Russell's been hit on both his right shoulder and his left bicep. Clippert's ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball off the plate. I mentioned that Chapman has 3 hits tonight. It's his 4th 3-hit game of his career. First time he's had 3 hits this season. He had 3 such games last year. Boy, he just looks like a hitter at the plate, doesn't he? He's got a great stance. He looks like he's ready, locked and loaded to uncoil at anything in that strike zone.
And the home run that he hit was an inside fastball that he turned around.
3-2 pitch, fouled back. The A's have a pretty good former third baseman coaching third base down there. That's Matt Williams. Had a terrific career with the Giants, had some good seasons with the Cleveland Indians, and now the former manager of the Washington Nationals is the third base coach for Oakland.
That's how you take advantage of your first round pick. Chapman was a first round pick in 2014. Good scouting. You develop him in your farm system. He's always been able to hit for power. When you go back and look at some of his numbers in the minor leagues, he had a season in Double-A where he hit 29 home runs and drove in 83. He also hit 7 more home runs that season when he got called up to Triple-A. So 36 home runs in one season in the minor leagues. That's how you take advantage of first round picks.
Don't miss.
Don't miss.
Stephen Piscotty had a base hit his last time up. He's 1 for 4. Fouls that one straight back. The draft is coming up in June, and all the teams around the majors are calling in their scouts. Come into their home city where they can evaluate the scouting reports and make some decisions. As you see Jake Petrichka starting to loosen up.
That should be happening maybe in another week or so. 10 days. They start bringing in the scouts and they start having meetings before the draft.
Of course, there are a lot of players to cover. High school players, college players, junior college players. And there are a lot of different theories about what type of player you should take. Some of the great GMs like Pat Gillick always say you should take a position player with your #1 pick, guy that might have a long career.
Yeah, we asked him flat out, if you had your choice between a pitcher and an everyday player, who do you take? I thought for sure he would say pitcher. He said everyday player.
Tyler Clippert strikes out Piscotty to strand a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Oakland with a big lead. Time now for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. TD Zone, our guests from one of TD's community partners. They have great seats on a very comfortable night here as Ryan Dull comes out of the A's bullpen for his 12th game of the season.
Very aggressive fastball slider combination, just a little bit of a changeup. Very aggressive pitcher, does a good job against righties. This is a case, I think, where Bob Melvin wanted to get him right back out there. He pitched in yesterday's ball game at Boston, gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs. So that elevated his ERA to 5.79. So you run him back out there in this type of game here to give him a little bit of confidence.
Kevin Pillar's had a perfect night. 2 hits and a sacrifice fly. Picked up his 18th double in the second inning. Came around to score the first Blue Jay run. Blue Jays actually had a 1-0 lead in this game.
You will get a fastball from Ryan Dull. In the past, he has done well against right-handers. They're hitting 385 against him now. Just the fastball slider combination began this season on the disabled list.
Dull last year got into 49 games with Oakland. He had a strained right knee. Kept him on the DL late in the season. This is a pop-up over near the A's dugout as Olsen will get there, and Pillar is retired.
It's time to fire up your senses. Your best experience begins with Broil King. Available at your local home hardware. Here's how.
This is the first game of a 4-game series against the Oakland Athletics. Russell Martin has gone 0 for 2 with a walk. Both starters were out of the game early. Andrew Triggs left with an injury after 2 1/3. Aaron Sanchez started the 5th but walked the leadoff man, and he was out of the game. Off the plate with the fastball. It's 2 balls and a strike. Blue Jays have just 5 hits tonight. Had 15 hits in the game yesterday in New York against the Mets.
A couple of doubles. One by Pillar, one by Smoke. They've also walked 4 times. Check that, 5 times.
Martin takes the 6th walk issued by Oakland. A 1-out walk here in the 8th. Bob Melvin frustrated, wondering where that last pitch was.
In his book, a high strike. Jonathan Lucroy asking 2.
Take a look at this last pitch. Looks like it's well in the strike zone, according to that pitch tracker. Kendrys Morales 0 for 3 tonight. You know, everybody is talking about pace of play and how you...
Not wearing his glasses, Buck.
Yeah, he's taking his glasses off.
They haven't helped. Pace of play, you were saying.
Pace of play. Everybody wants to know how you make games quicker. Call more strikes. Open up the strike zone. Let the umpires call their strike zone. That's the way it's been for 120 years. Umpires call strikes. Everybody knows their strike zone. And batters get in the box anxious to swing.
Yeah, when you know.
Two and 0 to Morales. Now there's a ball that's off the plate outside, and that's what frustrates hitters and pitchers, the inconsistency of the strike zone.
I know Kendricks has talked about trying to get used to wearing those glasses this year, pick up the baseball, especially the spin. For some reason, this at bat, he's not wearing it. I guess he just doesn't feel comfortable.
Well, certainly you would look at his numbers and suggest that he's had problems. He is now 14 for 95 for the season, hitting 147. And this is a guy that's hit his whole career.
Yeah, his whole career. 28 home runs last year for the Blue Jays. Said he was having trouble picking up the spin of the breaking ball.
Bryce Smith Jr. has grounded out 3 times to the second baseman tonight. Martin's at first with 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oakland has a 9-4 lead. Slicing drive to left field, and what a catch by the left fielder, Matt Joyce. That's as tough a play as a left fielder will get. That line drive off the bat of a left-handed hitter. That ball was slicing away from the fielder, and he made a heck of a catch.
Plus, he is a right-handed throwing outfielder, so he's got to reach right across his body. Watch that ball slice away from him. He's got to reach with that left arm and hauls it in. That's as good a play as you'll see from a left fielder.
That ball looked like 2 for sure. Bryce Smith Jr. is 0 for 3 with 3 ground outs to second.
There's been a few line drives tonight by the Blue Jays that have been caught by the A's.
Urania lined out to short in the second. Foul by. Solarte lined out to short in the 7th, and now that was a hard liner. Solarte also lined out to the center fielder in the 3rd.
Smith was robbed of a play, his last at bat, by Jed Lowry at second base. So the A's playing some good defense tonight.
The game has gone final in Boston. David Price throws a complete game. Baltimore scored a couple of runs in the 9th inning. Price didn't walk a batter, had 8 strikeouts, 2 runs on 5 hits. Price threw 95 pitches in a complete game effort tonight against Baltimore. Boy, Lucroy does a great job blocking those balls in the dirt. He just lets his body go very limp and deadens the ball, stays right close to home plate.
First thing, get down. He gets down, covers up between his legs, and just smothers that ball.
Breaking ball's cued off the end of the bat by Smith. This is the first of 7 games here on this homestand. 3 more games against Oakland over the weekend, and then the Angels are here starting Tuesday night. Smith is hanging tough against Dole. Blue Jays were hopeful of building some momentum after Jay Happ gave him such a great start yesterday afternoon in New York. 7 innings of 2-hit ball. Jay was terrific from the mound, but pretty good at the plate as well.
How about fielding? that great play, that little squibber up the first base line, made the great play there. He did everything you could ask for. He ran the bases. He got 2 hits. He pitched 7 innings.
Didn't walk a batter and struck out 10. And that was on the heels of a couple of shaky outings. He had a challenging outing against Tampa Bay down in St. Pete. Hap for pinch hitter. The fans pay attention. Marco Estrada will go to the mound tomorrow, and he'll face the former Blue Jay Brett Anderson, the lefty. He'll start for Oakland. What a good at bat this has been for Dwight Smith Jr.
Boy, he has run that pitch count up. Dahl's thrown 24 pitches, and he's gotten 2 outs. Long extended at bats. He should zero in on something here. 3-2.
Martin's off on the pitch, and there's a base hit for Dwight Smith Jr. He's rewarded for a very good at bat. His first hit of the night. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Dwight Smith Jr. picks up a base hit, and that will knock Ryan Dahl out of the game. Lou Trevino will come into the ball game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Had his glasses on, he would eventually go 0 for 3 to that point. And then in the 8th inning, he stepped to the plate without glasses, and he hit a line drive to left field.
On top of the glasses, no gloves in the 6th inning. Put his batting gloves on in the 8th inning, and he came that close to getting a base hit. So glasses and gloves. I'll tell you, hitters will do anything to try and get base hits.
It's been a real tough stretch for Morales. Richard Urania. He has a base hit in 3 at-bats. The pitcher is Lou Trevino.
Trevino 2-0, 0.64 earned run average. Got a big fastball, but will have trouble controlling it sometimes. 14 innings. He's had 6 walks and 15 strikeouts.
Urania has a base hit. They're going to stop the runner at third, Martin. So Urania picks up his 2nd hit of the night. That'll load the bases. Urania had a 3-run home run yesterday in New York. And now he has a 2-hit game.
And was robbed of a hit also. You know, John Gibbons, he will run that hot bat out there. So Urania, 3-run homer yesterday. A couple of hits tonight. Another line out. Got to figure he might be in there tomorrow.
Bases are loaded for Curtis Granderson. Granderson has 9 career grand slams.
Very rarely swings at the first pitch and they throw him a breaking ball. First pitch. Now he's in the driver's seat, 1-0.
Trevino making his 12th appearance of the season. Those are the numbers. 339 with the bases loaded and 9 home runs. Oh, he had a good pitch to hit. I tell you what, grand slam right here, things would be kind of interesting. Hard slider at 93.
That fastball can hit triple digits at times. And a hard slider. Now sit on that fastball.
He did that against Craig Kimbrell and hit a game-winning home run.
Just catch it out in front.
Not close enough. 97, 98, but away. Three and one to Granderson. Ripped foul off the wall pass first. Three and two outs. The runners will be moving on the pitch. There they go. Granderson takes ball 4. Trevino walks in a run. Martin comes in to score. For Granderson, that's the 3rd time he has walked tonight, and Bob Melvin can't believe the strike zone.
That high strike, they're not getting it tonight. He thought that slider was a high strike, but it hasn't been called all night. And how about the Jays? You take a look. That's a ball. The Jays, just like that, very quietly, are going to send the tying run to the plate.
Pitching coach out to have a chat with Trevino. Scott Emerson. And Bob Melvin, he has not been pleased with the strike zone of the home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. So 4th time that Granderson has had 3 walks in a game this season. Donaldson now can do some magic. Josh has had a rough night. 3 strikeouts and a walk. But he can erase all that with one swing of the bat.
He can erase it all. He's hit 4 grand slams in his career. He was looking fastball, and they threw him a slider.
Just took it off the end of the bat. They have thrown him a steady diet of breaking balls tonight. Trevino is the 4th reliever to work in this game. Casilla, Petit, Dahl, and now Trevino. .98. Some heat upstairs. One ball, 2 strikes. Oakland with a 9-5 lead. Trevino thought that was a strike. He was bouncing off the mound as if it was strike 3.
Yeah, he was halfway off the mound. Backup slider. They wanted to go down and away. Yes, the tying run is at the plate. One swing and the Jays can tie it.
Ground ball towards short. Simeon takes his time. Donaldson grounds out. The Blue Jays get a run, but they leave the bases loaded. We'll go to the 9th. Oakland has a 4-run lead. Jake Petrichka coming on.
Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. It's the best time to find a Honda you'll love.
The beautiful CN Tower next door to Rogers Center. We have made it to the 9th inning. Oakland has a 9-5 lead. Blue Jays a couple of times had a chance to get right back in it. But Oakland's bullpen has slammed the door on him. Now Jake Petrichka will take over here in the 9th.
Speaking of slamming the door, that's what the Jays bullpen has had to do tonight. We got a scoreless inning from Clipper and Tepera and Loop, a third of an inning. We need another one. See if that'll set up some heroics in the bottom of the inning.
For Oakland, it'll be Fowler, Lucroy, and then back to the top of the order, Marcus Simeon. Dustin Fowler is 1 for 3. Had an RBI single in the 5th. Ground ball right to the second baseman, Solarte. One away in. Jonathan Lucroy, he's gone 0 for 4. Oakland has stranded 10 men on base, despite the fact they have scored 9 runs.
Blue Jays are right there with them. They've stranded 9. Not a night for the pitchers. It's been a night for the hitters.
Breaking ball is bounced foul. Marco Estrada will start tomorrow. Estrada optimistic about the opportunity to start tomorrow. He feels pretty good about his last 2 starts, and that's Brett Anderson there with the beard. He pitched with the Blue Jays last season. He'll start for Oakland. Sean Manaea, who threw a no-hitter early in the season against Boston, he will start on Saturday. Left-hander on the left of your screen there.
Well, Teoscar is okay. They got a couple of lefties coming up. Some back spasms tightened up on him yesterday. Not the lineup we're playing today.
Ground ball to Urania at short. Hooker is 0 for 5.
Well, maybe a day of rest and some work, get some treatment on it. He should be okay.
He had initially felt it early in the game playing in the field and then took an awkward swing later on, kind of aggravated that.
Finished out that game.
Marcus Simeon drives it into the alley. Dwight Smith Jr. over to cut it off. Here's the throw back into the infield. He'll keep Simeon to a single. So Simeon has his first hit of the night. Matt Joyce, the left fielder, he singled and scored the first Oakland run. He scored on an RBI double by Jed Lowry. Joyce has had a fine career. He was drafted by the Tigers in the 12th round out of Florida Southern College in Lakeland, then traded to Tampa Bay.
Tigers, Florida Southern, Lakeland. They didn't have to go far to scout them.
No, they scouted him right at home, didn't they?
Yeah, that's where their spring training headquarters are, right there in Lakeland.
Joyce played from 2009 to 14 with the Rays. So Martin gets another foul tip off his catcher's mitt. And then Joyce went to the Angels, played 15 with LA, 16 with the Pirates, and then he signed a free agent deal with Oakland. That's his second season with the A's.
He made the play of the day.
Ball gets away from Martin and Simeon takes off, and now there's nobody at third.
There is now. He made that play of the day, taking a hit away from Kendrys Morales a couple of innings ago.
So when the ball got away from Martin, Simeon took off for second, and they were playing him in the shift, and Petrichka was the first one that recognized nobody was at third. So he was able to get there. Martin also took off toward third. Watch the scramble here.
So the shortstop's got to recognize that a little bit earlier. That third base is open, and he's got to get over there.
2-2 to Matt Joyce. There's a base hit into center. Simeon's going to score as Joyce cashes in after the wild pitch. It's 10-5 Oakland. So Joyce picks up the RBI. That's just his 7th RBI of the season. He has hit 5 home runs. He went through a long drought without an RBI. He had a 23-game streak without an RBI. He snapped that Friday in New York against the Yankees.
Got a little help that time with the wild pitch. Sent that runner into scoring position. Couple of hits tonight. He was robbed of a hit.
Bouncing ball. Solarte from the outfield throws to first. Lowry's retired, but the A's get another run in the top of the 9th. They lead at 10-5. Smoke, Solarte, and Pilar will face Trevino. it all begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell. 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time as Marco Estrada is anxious to make this next start. He feels pretty good about the way he's thrown the last couple of times out, and he wants to get back on the right track. So we are headed for the bottom of the ninth. It'll be Smoke, Solarte, and Pilar for the Blue Jays. Lou Trevino came in and was able to close out the inning and gave up a base hit, a bases loaded walk, and then got Donaldson to ground out to end the inning. Smoke hits one into center field. Fowler is going to get there, and he makes the catch. He's had a couple of adventures out there tonight earlier in the game. Balls that fell in front of him.
One of them was Justin Smoke. You've got a big slugger like that take a full swing, and the first one was off the end of the bat. That one got in on him just a little bit. I mean, you could fool a young player. Not every ball is hit hard. He was fooled on that one.
And there was Solarte. He got an RBI single in the fifth inning. Sharply hit, but right up the middle. There's the shortstop, Simeon. 2 up, 2 down here in the ninth. Kevin Pillar's had a good night at the plate. He is 2 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. Hot shot to third. Chapman flags it down. Strong arm. That's the ball game. Oakland wins the opener 10-5 as they out-hit the Blue Jays 14-7. Lots of offense. Chris Davis with a big night. He had a 4-hit game, his first 4-hit game of the season. Oakland hit 3 more home runs tonight. They have now hit 44 home runs on the road, the most in the majors.
Yeah, 58 of them now on the season, and those 3 home runs accounted for 7 of the 10 runs scored by the A's tonight. Back to the drawing board tomorrow. Marco Estrada trying to get the Blue Jays in the win column.
We'll be back at it tomorrow night. Marco Estrada against Brett Anderson in game 2 of this 4-game series. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Eric Thomas and Ivanka Osmak.